What is the real reason for the beef between CM Punk and Seth Rollins? Hi everyone, Steph Chase here, bringing you some more breaking wrestling news and analysis. Today I'm delving into how the real life beef between Seth Rollins and CM Punk started after the two went face to face on Raw this Monday. So stay tuned to find out what really happened. So CM Punk returned to WWE at Survivor Series. We all know that. I was there. But until last night, he had not picked which brand he would be appearing on. We've seen him on Raw, last week's SmackDown, and just for fun on NXT, appearing at Deadline over the weekend and doing an in-ring segment with Shawn Michaels. On Monday's Raw, CM Punk declared he would be joining the Red brand. That seemed pretty obvious to me. Randy Orton, who also returned at Survivor Series, chose SmackDown. And there's a Raw in Chicago on March 25th, 2024, which would be the second last stop on the road to WrestleMania. And a big Punk moment there would be awesome. So now we know Punk's on Raw. What's next for him? Well, last night he was confronted by WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins after he signed his Raw contract, and Seth had some things to say. He told Punk not to dare call WWE his home, saying he abandoned WWE 10 years ago and actively tried to tear WWE down, and he'd spent a decade slandering Seth and every other WWE wrestler. "This is not your home, this is my home," Seth said, adding he'd do everything in his power to protect his home from people like you. Seth then flat out told CM Punk, "I hate you," and added, "If you're going to be in WWE, I want you on Raw because the truth always comes out. I know, you know, everybody knows this is your last chance. You're either going to expose yourself, self-destruct like you always do, and I'll be the first person in the back to slam the door shut on your legacy, or if by some miracle you have changed and you've got any gas left in this old tank, maybe one day you'll be lucky enough to stand across the ring from me in a World Heavyweight Championship match, and then I will expose you for the fraud that you are." So after Seth's tirade, Punk took the mic and told him, "That is your one chance to disrespect me without me coming after you." Punk then went ahead and declared himself for the Royal Rumble, telling Seth that maybe when CM Punk wins, he's coming after you. Now, I thought this segment was really, really good, and I like the CM Punk Seth direction because it's a real line blur of a feud. What do I mean by that? So when Punk returned at Survivor Series, when I was celebrating, Seth Rollins was freaking out in the ring, and many people did buy this as a genuine reaction. Come on, guys, it's wrestling. But they were able to believe this because of the animosity between the two in the past. So back in January, Seth was asked by Nick Hausman about the possibility of Punk joining WWE, and he gave a scathing response, telling Phil to stay away, adding, "Stay away, you cancer, get away from me forever. I don't like Phil, he's a jerk. I don't want him back, go do something else." Now, it was just this week that Seth opened up on the Sports Illustrated Media podcast about his past with CM Punk. He said, "A lot of it's personal, a lot of it's stuff that I don't really want to get into, but for the most part, I think he's been really selfish when it comes to his perspective of the industry. I think he's been extremely self-serving. He's played the martyr role to a T. He said some really bad things about me. He talked down about me for years and the company for years, and I'm talking some really bad stuff. Called me a bootlicker and crap like that, and like, you don't know me, you don't know me, you don't know what I stand for. I'm a loyal person, and I felt pretty insulted by a lot of the ways he treated me, treated the place that I worked for, treated the friends that I worked with. And then the way he talked down about me and my friends and the people who are here putting the hard work in WWE, trying to make this thing as good as we possibly could because we love the industry, we truly love it, not just what I can do for us, but actually love it and want to get back to it and want to make it the best we can possibly be." And I always just feel like he was a fraud in that sense, or at least turned into one at some point in the last decade. And so that's the long of it. It's a deep rooted, I wouldn't call it hatred, but there's certainly animosity there, no doubt about it. Seth also really poked the bear by mentioning Colt Cabana during that interview. So Seth has some strong feelings, but what exactly is he talking about with these bootlicker comments saying that CM Punk talked down about Seth Rollins? When did that actually happen, and what did CM Punk actually say? So from what I can find, this might go back to 2020 during the pandemic. In April of that year, after WrestleMania, there was a wave of WWE releases that included people like Rusev, Zack Ryder, and Kurt Angle. When this happened, Seth did an Instagram Live where he talked about today being a difficult day for the industry. His heart was broken for the people released. He went on to say that he didn't understand the negativity directed towards WWE. He says it's difficult for them and this isn't the time or the place to point fingers. If we start fighting among ourselves, it's only going to make things worse. So I encourage everybody to come together in this, unify and lift each other up, Seth said. So people were mad at these comments because we were in the pandemic at this time, and WWE is obviously a company worth billions, and they released people during a time when they couldn't really find work elsewhere. So the reaction to these comments led to a Twitter exchange where Rollins was asked by a now former wrestler, someone who was exposed during speaking out, so I won't mention their name, if he meant rally behind an industry or a company. Now, obviously implying that Seth Rollins is more concerned about WWE than the wrestling industry as a whole, and this was when conversations about unionization in wrestling were happening. So Seth responded, "I very much mean an industry. I came from nothing. I have friends and students at every level, and they've all been decimated by this pandemic. As the shutdown took hold of my WWE family yesterday, I felt a deep sadness. I want us all to lift each other up." Okay, so nothing in that story, in that exchange, involves CM Punk. But let's fast forward to December 2020. Punk is on Renee Paquette's podcast where he's asked about WWE wrestlers unionizing after talking about UFC fighters. And Punk said there's no such thing as the boys in the locker room. They're not all together as a collective group. Everyone is out to make their own money, and that will hinder the idea of coming to any agreement about unionizing. It's because there's no such thing as the boys. It's a trope. Oh, we're on the road and these people are our family. And like I said, once you're out of the bubble, you don't hear from anyone anymore. These people don't pay your bills. There's always going to be a handful of people that will undercut everybody else just to get ahead a little bit. And there seems to be a lot of people that not only just by nature are bootlickers. They just love the taste. So they just, you're supposed to lick the boot. You're not supposed to eat the entire thing. Now, those comments came less than a month after Zelina Vega left WWE over her Twitch activities and tweeted, "I support unionization." Remember that. So did Seth hear Punk's bootlicker comment and feel personally attacked? Or did Punk directly call out Seth? Did he call him a bootlicker at some point in some kind of exchange between the two behind closed doors? Who knows? But a year before that, we had something way more public between Seth and CM Punk. In late 2019, there were plenty of interactions between the two. It all started when Punk took the job on WWE backstage at Fox. Ahead of his first appearance, Seth started calling out Punk on Twitter. In the days leading up to it, he just tweeted, "Fight me" at CM Punk. A couple of days later, CM Punk tweeted, "It is weird trying to catch up on 5+ years of wrestling. I'm doing what I can. There's bright spots, mostly women from what I can tell. There's bad too. I'm going to talk about it, and no one is safe. Join us at Renee, at WWE and Fox, at Booker T, at Paige, at Vince McMahon, and funnily enough, at Tony Khan." So Seth responded to this tweet, "Don't talk about me, fight me. I'll catch you right up." By the way, Punk's tweet and the tagging of Tony Khan led to Tony Khan's tweet, "No one is safe. Sounds like a plane full of wrestlers in Saudi Arabia." So Punk did not directly respond to Seth on Twitter, but he did address him when he appeared on the show. He said, "This isn't the show where you shoot your angles," and he told Rollins to delete his Twitter, saying, "You're not doing yourself any favors." He then took a final shot of Rollins as he closed the show. He was cutting a promo on Tom Ireland, but he said, "Go search for relevancy somewhere else, Seth. I mean Tom." Then on Twitter, Seth Rollins quote tweeted a video of this and just wrote, "Hell of a response. Coward. Then we come to the Raw after that, which was the Raw after Survivor Series. Seth Rollins opened the show and the fans started chanting CM Punk. And he responded, "I tried to get CM Punk here. I'm sorry. He didn't want to show up. He wants to sit behind a desk in Los Angeles and talk about a change that he's too afraid to make himself." Now, during this time, Rollins did also express that Vince McMahon was not happy about his calling out of CM Punk because Seth was teasing a match that WWE was not going to be able to deliver to fans. Then I also want to note that in December 2019, PW Insider did some reporting about what in the pair's past could have led to these bad feelings, saying many years ago a young Tyler Black, that's Seth Rollins, showed up at the Ring of Honor school looking to be trained and was taken in by the school and didn't have the money to be trained, and he was sent home because he did not have a way to pay his bills. So I don't know if there's any real heat there, but there's probably an underlying desire from Rollins to make money with CM Punk, and Punk has been very much I'm not wrestling yet. They go on to add that they don't think it's the plan to have the Seth and CM Punk match. Of course, that didn't happen. Now, the last time these two did face off was in December 30th, 2013, and around the time of this public calling out of Punk, Seth did reflect on that match, saying, "We had one singles match, that was 6 years ago at least. Yeah, we're in different places now. It'd be a lot different. The match would look a lot different." He says never say never. I say when. So there you have it, a bit of a delve into the past between Seth Rollins and CM Punk. I gotta say, however real this beef is between them, it doesn't really matter, because now in 2023, if these two are able to work together, I think we're in for some pretty good stuff on the road to WrestleMania. And you know, it's the fans that are going to win from this one. So thank you so much for watching this video. It's a new style of video that I am testing out here on the channel. If you like it, please give this video a like, please subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Bye.